welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be announcing slash just introducing you to a project TBR, which is something I'm going to be attempting this year. I know it's already kind of late to be starting, but I did just read 2 books of my long-term TBR, and I thought that would be a good sort of kickoff point to sort of try at least to work through some of my TBR this year. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you don't know what Project TBR is, I don't actually know who came up with it. I've not really watched any videos on it, but I do know about Project Pam, where people try to use up makeup products throughout the year. And this is basically the book version where you try to read as much of your TBR as you possibly can within a year. My TBR is not overly huge. I'll link my most recent TBR bookshelf tour down below and in the cards up here if you want to go ahead and check it out. And for this project, I kind of just want to pick some books that have been on my shelf for a really long time, for at least 2 years, and that just haven't gone anywhere, that I've maybe started. A lot of these I've started already and just put down again, so I really wanna finally finish some of them, because it kind of was torn between not wanting to not finish them but also not feeling like finishing them. So that's why I put them back on the TBR shelf, and it's just, there's no point in having so many books that you're like, I don't know, I'm never gonna read this, because I love buying books. I'm gonna keep buying books, so you know something has to change. So if you want to join in on this project TBR with your own TBR, let me know in the comments down below. But you can definitely do this differently from me. But I am going to try and read 12 books of my long-term TBR, 2 for each month of the year, because I've already read 2, and I thought since it's been 2 months, that would be a good place. And I'm actually accidentally caught up with the project. I didn't know what I was doing. So I'm just gonna quickly show you the 2 books that have been on my TBR for such a long time and that I finally read. They were both in my February wrap-up, so if you haven't seen that one, go check it out. I won't talk about these too long today, but it's The Innocence by Francesca Siegel, which is a retelling of The Age of Innocence. That's where it came from. And also Burn for Burn by Jenny Han and Siobhan Vivian. Both of these had been on my shelf for such a long time, and I just I don't even know. I think it's because I haven't bought many books recently, or any books recently, that I sort of went and gravitated back towards the books that I've had for a longer time. And I finally read them, and I really enjoyed both of them, so, it just goes to show that you don't even know what you're missing if you have a huge TBR. Because your next favorite book might already be in your possession, and you don't even know it because you're not reading it. But now moving on to the actual TBR, because both of these are now no longer TBR books. So there are 10 more books that I'm planning on reading this year. So ideally I would read at least 1 a month, but I don't have a top limit, so I can technically read all 10 in the next month and be done. That would also be fine, but I don't think that's gonna be happening because I have a huge book order coming in, and no, sorry, but I think most of these are gonna have to wait for a lot longer to be actually read. But without further ado, let's get into it. So the first book that I definitely want to read this year is The Room, it's just Room, I think, by Emma Donoghue. And I have had this book for a really long time, and I have started it, and it just made me feel so claustrophobic. It's just about a woman and her son that are kind of locked in a room, and it's written from his perspective, so from her son's perspective, and he's still a very young child, so their style of writing is sometimes a little awkward, it's intentionally so, but it's just a little awkward to read. And also I'm just so anxious when reading it, because they're stuck in this room and I have vicarious claustrophobia for them. So yeah, I just have to get past that, because just stop being such a wuss, Teresa, and just actually read it, because I think it's supposed to be a pretty good book, so I definitely want to read that one. The next one is also still in Vienna, and that is The Island of Dr. Moreau by H.G. Wells. I had bought this book after reading The Madman's Daughter by Megan Shepherd, I think. And it's kind of, The Madman's Daughter is a retelling of it, and that's obviously the classic version. It's not very long, and it just sounds really creepy and interesting, and I just want to read it, so I will add that also to my TBR, Project TBR list. The next book I really want to read is Professor Moriarty, The Hamlet of D'Urberville by Kim Newman. Also another book I picked up on a random booktube recommendation. that I don't even really remember the plot of, or like the summary. It's obviously about Professor Moriarty from Sherlock Holmes, but I don't know if this is like canon like stuff, or like just like rewritten, or if it's her own twist of things. Like, I honestly don't know, but I really want to read it because it seems pretty cool and I really like Sherlock Holmes stories. Next is Die Wand by Marlene Haushofer. This is a German book by an Austrian author that I started years ago, and unfortunately I took out the bookmark. Like, why? I don't know. I read like halfway through this or something and then just stopped because honestly it's not the most interesting book, but it's sort of like an Austrian classic, and my grandma recommended it to me and gave this book to me, so I just want to finish it. Maybe there's gonna be like some big like meaningful revelations inside of this one, I don't know. It's just basically about a woman that goes to like a cabin in the woods, and then all of a sudden there's like an invisible wall around her hut, and like there's her hut and like some area that she can walk around like through, but like all around that is a wall, and she's by herself there. I think she's like a dog or a cat or something, and yeah, it's just about what she does there all day. So as you can see, the plot summary is not the most like, oh my god, gripping, suspenseful, but it's supposed to be good, so I really want to finish this one. Next is Eva Ibbetson's A Company of Swans. This is a book about ballet, and I really like books about ballet, so that's why I originally picked this up. As you can maybe tell, I also read a little bit of this one already. That's kind of the theme of this TBR pile, is that I started them and like didn't get very far. Yeah, and I just like really want to finish this. Next, this one is kind of just embarrassing because I think I've been reading on this book for like ever. I don't even know. This is House of Leaves by Marksy Danielewski, and I'm like actually halfway through, but it is the most confusing book of all time, and it is just like actual work to read this. It's probably a good book. It's kind of very creepy, definitely. So it's just about, if you don't know already, it's about like, I don't even know how to explain this. A house where there's like a random hallway, a doorway or something that you go through, and like you end up in this huge maze like that shouldn't even be there. And then it's like somebody wrote about that happening, and then somebody wrote notes into that or something. Like, honestly, it's so confusing. It has like 3 layers of people writing about it or making notes on like the margins of it. So yeah, that's why there's like 3 different fonts in this book, so you can sort of tell them apart. And that's why it's also like has pages like this that I don't get. So it's probably a very bad idea to stop midway through, because now I genuinely have no idea what's just happening or even who it is that I'm currently reading about. But you know what? I have heard like really great really great things about this book, and I just really want to read it and finish it and know how it ends. So I just need to make time, sit down, and like focus and actually read this. Next is The Shock of the Fall by Nathan Filer. This is a little bit more easy to handle than The House of Leaves, I guess. My sister gave this to me, I think, for Christmas a few years ago, because I asked for it and I haven't read it yet. And yeah, it's just one of these things that is supposed to be good, but I still haven't read it, so I want to do that this year. Next is The Knife of Never Letting Go by Patrick Ness. I think I bought this at YLC 2014. Still haven't read it, but Patrick Ness is a pretty good author, so definitely want to check this one out. And finally, another book that I've read halfway through and then just stopped for no apparent reason. Yes Please by Amy Poehler. This is sort of like her memoir / autobiography / funny essays that she's written, and it's not bad. It's just like I don't get a lot of the references that she's making, so I think that's the main reason why I kind of just stopped at some point and didn't pick it up again. But yeah, I really just need to finish this and like be able to put it in my red shelf. So that is the last book that I want to read this year. And that is it also for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed this little excursus through my books that I am wanting to read this year. I'm making this video to hold myself accountable, so don't hesitate to to keep me accountable. And also let me know in the comments if you're participating or wanting to participate in this year as well. I'm probably going to be doing some kind of update on this like every few months or maybe in 5 months, so that's kind of like the halfway point of from now on, starting from now on. Seeing how much I've gone through and if I've fallen behind, stuff like that. And then I'll obviously do a wrap up at the end of the year and see how it all went. But yeah, definitely don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more book related videos coming soon. And I'm going to see you soon. Have a lovely week. Bye!